Hey, what's going on, guys? Willis here. We're back with another Genshin Impact video. Today we're going to take a look at obviously the newest 5-star character, Yoimiya. We're going to be talking about her strengths, her weaknesses, how to build her, team comps, and pretty much whether or not you should be pulling for her. If you guys enjoy the video, obviously be sure to leave a like. If this video reaches 2,000 likes, we'll actually give away 980 Primo Gems over in my Discord, so make sure you're in the Discord too. Link to that will be in the video description. Now, before I go into depth on abilities and I guess builds and stuff, I want to talk a bit about obviously how a lot of people have been commenting on Yoimiya. Pretty much what they're saying is she's underwhelming, and a lot of people are obviously going to be skipping her, especially since miHoYo announced that the next banners are actually going to be the Raiden Shogun and obviously Kokomi. And obviously there's a lot of hype around the Electro Archon, but as always, guys, at the end of the day, if you want to really wish for a character, or you maybe need a pyro DPS in this case, don't let this video stop you from pulling for it. At the end of the day, you can enjoy the game for what really matters. And yeah, let's just talk about Yoimiya. So even though her whole theme is fireworks based, Yoimiya excels a lot in single target damage, and she basically lacks, I would say, a lot of AoE besides maybe her elemental burst, which pretty much marks enemies sort of how Childs would work. She functions a bit similar to Hu Tao, since she can pretty much infuse her normal attacks with pyro, but at the same time she isn't just Hu Tao with a bow. And I think that Yoimiya is still a really unique character, since she can function as a DPS with her pyro attacks, and she can also function as a support for pyro application. But I understand that obviously many people are going to skip her for maybe the Raiden Shogun and maybe like a possible Hu Tao rerun, or maybe Ganyu, especially since we know that the anniversary of Genshin is right around the corner. But basically, guys, if you really like her design and playstyle, you should go for whoever you want. Now, like I've mentioned a bit, Yoimiya's playstyle, talents and abilities we're going to go into now. So for her talents, Yoimiya's normal attacks are pretty much her bread and butter, and it basically hits 5 times, but her first and her fourth attack actually does 2 instances of damage. Her animation looks really smooth, and she even does this sort of little cool jumping spin in between attacks. When it comes to her charge attack, she's really unique, but like Ganyu, she has 2 levels to hit charge attack. Basically, at the level 1 charge, you fire a flaming arrow that deals pyro damage. At the level 2 charge, you pretty much generate these things called kindlings, and these are arrows that are pretty much special arrows, and they work a lot like sort of homing missiles, let's call it, and they'll deal pyro damage on hit. However, these kindling arrows are only a small addition to the damage. The kindling arrows isn't where most of her damage comes from, so don't expect it to be like some pyro level Ganyu, because it's not like that. Now, going over her elemental skill, the Nawabi Fire Dance, it's actually similar to Hu Tao's, but without losing your HP, since it pretty much turns in normal attacks into blazing arrows, giving you more damage, basically infusing them with pyro. But do keep in mind, you won't get the kindling arrows from charging your attacks to level 2, so spamming your normal attacks with the skill active is pretty much the way to go. The buff lasts for 10 seconds and it has an 18-second cooldown, so you get an 8-second downtime for you to switch to other characters. Now, talking about elemental burst, the Ryukin, Yoimiya leaps into the air, fires these blazing sort of firework rockets that deal burst pyro damage, and it actually marks one opponent with the Aurus Blaze. When a marked opponent is hit by any of the party members beside Yoimiya using your basic attacks, skills, and bursts, it deals AoE pyro damage. And when that opponent affected by Aurus Blade dies, the mark expires and it transfers to a new enemy. Do keep in mind, guys, you pretty much only are able to trigger the mark with other characters. Unfortunately, Yoimiya can't actually trigger the mark herself, so this is where she sort of comes in as like a support pyro character if you do want to build it that way. But when it comes to Yoimiya's passive talent, she pretty much takes on one more. But when it comes to Yoimiya's passive talent, she does pretty much take on one of the DPS role. Her first passive talent says that Yoimiya's elemental skill, her normal attacks, will actually increase her pyro damage by 2% on hit. This can have a maximum of 10 stacks, and basically means if you manage to get max stacks, you'll get 20% pyro damage bonus in about 3 seconds. She can complete her 5-hit normal rotation, which gives you 7 stacks, which is a really good pyro damage bonus that you can pretty much just get from her passive. Her second passive talent is basically like a built-in 4-piece Noblesse Oblige set. Whenever Yoimiya casts her burst, she gives party members except herself a 10% attack increase for 15 seconds. What's even better, guys, is that each stack that she gets in her first passive increases the attack bonus by 1%. Basically, you'll get a maximum of 20% attack increase on top of that already, given the 10% that the passive makes her an even better support. So now that I've talked a bit about her talents, you'll want to play Yoimiya in a mix of DPS as well as support. You want to activate her skills and basically spam her normal attacks like a DPS, but you pretty much want to be doing this to get the most stacks from your passive, since you'll only use your elemental burst. Pretty much doing this to get the most stacks from your passive. Then once you use your elemental burst, you'll want to switch to your other party members to trigger the Aura's Blaze explosion and give them the max stacks of your attack bonus. So she's pretty much like a DPS, but when she does her normal attacks and then she attacks as a support with her elemental burst, you want to prioritize leveling up her normal attacks for consistent DPS, and because of her normal attack multipliers and obviously her elemental skill, and then her burst. Now, going over her weapons, what weapons do you want to use? Obviously, her best in-slot weapon is the Thundering Pulse Bow. That'll be releasing alongside of her with its own banner. It gives a high base attack with crit damage main stat, and basically the passive synergizes well with her normal attack playstyle, buffing its damage and increasing her attack. Other than 5-star bows like the Amos Bow or Skyward Harp, they're going to be really good as well, obviously for Yoimiya. And you can pretty much just give her whichever one you have, honestly. But the Amos Bow passive looks a lot better on Yoimiya, and the buff with her normal attacks even more. When it comes to the 4-star options, I think the best one would probably be the Rust, especially at the higher refinement, since you'll be getting more focus on her normal attacks rather than the charged attacks. The passive is pretty much going to be really strong for her as well. Competing with the Rust is the new Inazuma craftable bow, which you probably saw, the Hamayumi, which if you only know, you get this bow from opening up a chest in Inazuma. Now, it's next to this guy that wants these mysterious conches. You pretty much just collect them on the beach, and then you have to do it like 7 days in a row, and you have a chance to get the blueprint. It's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. But yeah, this bow is going to be really good as well if you can get it at higher refinement, since it increases your normal and charge attack damage. The bonus is doubled when you reach 100% energy, so it's going to be really good to maximize her DPS potential. So moving on to her artifacts. Now, Yoimiya has a lot of ways that you can build her, whether you want maximum DPS or maybe support potential. The artifact set would probably be the new Shimenawa set, since the set looks like it's pretty much designed for her, and it gives you 18% attack, and it also increases your normal, charge, and plunging attacks by 50% at the cost of some energy with the 4-piece set. The only awkward thing about this set is basically how it pairs with her best free-to-play weapon, the Hamayumi. Since the weapon needs you to have your burst up and make the most out of it, the 4-piece Shimenawa set needs you to drain your energy to basically activate the bonus. The passive might really synergize well together, and obviously it's going to be difficult to get both bonuses up at the same time. She might need a battery to make the most out of it, so yeah. The Retracing Bowlight set also pretty much looks really good, since it gives you 40% normal and charge attack damage, but obviously you're going to need a shield to proc it. Now, obviously, if you have a character like Zhongli or maybe even Noelle, you can probably make this work. You can also get the 4-piece Lava Walker set for extra damage to opponents affected by Pyro. Or obviously, the typical build you'll see is 2-piece Crimson Witch with 2-piece Gladiator, or maybe 2-piece Shimenawa with 2-piece Gladiator. Now, when it comes to artifact stats, you obviously want to focus on attack sands, pyro goblet, crit circlet, or maybe you want to do a crit damage circlet. Obviously, you want to maximize the crit stats on her flower and her feather. Team compositions. Going over team cons, you'll synergize pretty well with these characters. Yoimiya has internal cooldowns on her pyro applications, so you won't be getting the most out of her elemental reactions, unfortunately. This basically means that compared to other pyro characters like Hu Tao, Diluc, Yan Fei, who can apply pyro consistently, Yoimiya can pretty much only do it every few seconds. However, given that, I think she'll still be a really good character. As I said, she'll pretty much go with anyone, and she's a really good off-field support. Characters like Beidou, Fischl, Xingqiu, Rosaria, Kaya, and even the new Electro Traveler. Crowd control supports like Sucrose, Venti, and Kazuha are going to be really good as well, since she does lack a lot of AoE. And having your enemies grouped up is going to be really good for her, especially after using her Elemental Burst. I think this is going to go really well with someone like maybe Child, who has a downtime for his DPS capabilities, so you can basically just switch back and forth. But yeah, conclusion. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about Yoimiya. She looks like she's going to be a really good single target DPS. and she'll pretty much work well as an off-field support. She does lack a lot of AoE and consistent pyro application, but the damage potential looks promising. Again, she won't be the best pretty much meta character out there, since there are a lot of characters out there already like Zhang Ling or Hu Tao, but she seems like a really fun character overall. She can basically buff herself and her team as well at the same time. If you really like her normal attack playstyle, her design, you should definitely pull for her. She's got a fun personality, obviously, and she's a character based around fireworks. She lacks AoE, but if you're considering getting the Raiden Shogun or another future character and you're limited on Primogems, then it might be the smart choice to obviously save and skip Yoimiya. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys will be wishing or skipping for Yoimiya. Either way, leave a like, join the Discord for a chance to win 10,000 Primogems. We do a giveaway every single month. This has been Willis Game, guys. I will see you in my next video. Peace.